just by definition, if you call it art, it's good, you know. Just think about that. I got to think about that. I got to think more before I talk about that, because one of my students was talking to me about that the other day, you know. I started thinking about it. There's a whole lot of right in that, or somehow, or something, you know. Like, if you define it as art, it's all good. It can't be bad art. I'm thinking about it, you know. I mean, I like it. It has nothing to do with it being good or bad art. See, every time you get comfortable, you know, and then you have something figured out, something comes and blows you away. That's what I like about farming. See, I farmed, you know. And when I first came, I had a 180-acre, 140-acre farm. It seemed like 180, you know. I raised corn, oats, alfalfa, and quarter horses, you know. I did a little rodeo at the time. You know, I liked that. That was a nice physical thing. I liked the people, you know, they're just rotten. I really like them. I had a lot of time, good time. Just, horse people are the most honest liars in the world, you know? Like, if you don't know the horse is blind, you shouldn't be buying horses, you know? It's definitely your problem, you know? Even if we're the best of friends. And I like that. That's really, you know, right, yeah, I know what you're doing, see? And I had like 23 horses one time, you know, just, you go to a horse auction, you get drunk, you come home with another horse, you know? Oh, that's terrible. But how do I start talking about that? I don't know. Farm. Yeah, that doesn't mean anything. Farm. Well, he certainly knows about that. All right, now I'm at the. This is going to be a little bit heavier than what I want to deal with, I think. I don't know. Let's see if I can do this or not. It should work. It says right there in Rhodes' book. Something has to happen. See, we know that if we go on that assumption, that something has to happen, you know. And I go on that assumption a lot, you know, like in my life, you know. Like everybody's got to be someplace, and everything will do something. See, it's a lot better, isn't it? No, just think about that, you know. Like, boy, if you think about that, like, everybody's got to be someplace. Sometimes, boy, they'll give you about 3 seconds, you know, and it saves your life, you know. The guy opens the closet, says, "What are you doing here?" Everybody's got to be someplace. And you got to, you know. A lot of times, right? You don't need much lead sometimes to get. Careful that one. See, now I have to get. Can you see what's happening here? You see? Now I got to get this out of here. These ring around the roses, you know. Jasper Johns did the targets. We don't need to do them again. Got to get them out of here. Good. So now we'll play with this a little bit in here, okay? I don't know. I might have to come back in. I may have to come back in when it dries a little more because it just keeps making ribbings, but it will be all right. We'll just go back here and just, I think I want to touch this up just a bit. I don't want to get this, see, as I'm looking here, I don't want to get this too thin because then it will be kind of really pretentious, you know. So I'm going to put more pressure. How can I do that, though? I can't do that. Let me, wait a minute. I'll tell you in a minute what I'm doing. Down some more, see? Right in there. Okay? Okay. Paula, my wife now, Paula Reitz now, she's a sculptor and a clay person and things, and she's a great gal, you know. But, we've been married a couple of years now, see? She's a hard time living on the edge, you know. She doesn't quite understand that yet. That's really about the only place to be, isn't it? You know, right there on the all that. You know. Go either way. See? Okay, now we got something we can operate with later on. Okay. Yeah, that's better. Okay, all right. That's really too much air on that. God damn it. No. Oh no, don't move the bed. Yeah, we need the air. Oh, yeah, not on air. Right, we need the air, right? Okay, there's a lot of hot air in here. Okay. Do you mind if we do one more so that
Go right ahead.
Listen, if you want to take a break, you know, please feel free. I mean, oh, you're sitting there, you know, and that's just a bitch. I mean, I know it. I'm having all the fun here. Getting better, huh? See that? You like that? One thing I will do is that I didn't do. I wondered where I got that thing. These little holes are okay, but you know when you drill your bats all the way through, you know, I usually cover those holes up with clay because when I'm pulling this out, that gives me the air pocket in it. And a lot of times when I pull things out to the edge, it lifts the whole thing off. That's interesting. Okay, all right. I'll be right. Pretty classy bats, aren't they? Huh? That is dirty stuff. I'll tell you. Ah, we'll let it go. Let's get some more clay here. Bring my clay to the workshop. Great. I might go ask again so I can't see either, you know. It's just terrible. My body just going to hell, man. All right, keep it going. I just can't see. I buy these glasses. I don't pay over $10 for glasses. 9, 10, that's as much, no more. I go down to Christie's. You got them here at Woolworth's, $5 a dime, you know? I get down there, you get all these glasses. You just get a card, keep putting them on to you where you can read them, you know? I got these little, it's like I'm aging Ben Franklin, you know? I get these little glasses on here, see? And I lose them all the time. You know, I just lose them all the time. I sit on them, you know, stuff like that. So I just don't pay any more than that.
Settling down with something. It's like,
yeah, that should be able to feel it. Did you ever change that field line?
There, yeah, if you want to hear. That's how I used to tell Charlie, you know. He's an Indian. I stay with. I was a scout, you know. I've always been a scout, you know. I'm an Eagle Scout, 2 palms, you know. We did things at that time with scouting, you know. I don't think we marched any parades. I don't remember. I think we used to send a float down the river, the Delaware. Memorial Day or Labor Day. When do you send floats? Memorial Day, I guess, not Labor Day. And, but you know, so I grew up in that kind of atmosphere, you know. Camping in a small town, Belleville, New Jersey. Down by the Delaware Gap, the Peters Valley, you know what that is? That's born. I'm not born, so my small town, about 1,600 people, something like that. And I was raised in the dealing with the natural, environment. You know what I mean? We always had gardens, so forth, that kind of time period. You know, get up and dust those potato bugs, all that stuff. And I guess I get off on the columns of natural environment. You know. That is, I like that. More exciting than man-made environment, you know? More exciting than architectural structures, which stay with you for a little while, but, to just sit out in the middle of the field, and sit down and look at all and just wait about 5 or 10 minutes and just keep watching. And there's this whole life structure that's going on under you, Unbelievable, Just fantastic. And you go take from that to watching glaciers fall off, and like lightning hitting trees, Doesn't seem like you're doing a hell of a lot making dishes, does it? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I think about that. So anyhow, we got to, I worked at a meat market, see, ever since I could look over a meat block, even before I could look over a meat block, basically, I remember I was too little to used to scrape the blocks, and I had to walk around to the other side to get to the middle of it, you know what I mean? And I was always too young to go to school, it seems. I was always not ready for school, School was a place I came to rest, to get ready for the real world. was like, I don't know, you know, it was like when I'd get up, here's what about, let's take like a 7th grade time period, probably in 8th grade, something like that, you know. I'd get up at 4:30, 5 o'clock, and I'd run, I had about a 2-mile, or a 3-mile, I guess, trap line on Delaware River's trap, just make my money doing that, see. And then I'd go to school, you know. If I didn't get hit with a skunk, I'd go to school, you know. And before, no, from my trap line, I would come down to the meat market, and I'd set up the meat cage, you know, the cold cuts. I washed the hot dogs, a little sticky, you know, a little bacon, so the chicken's getting a little white, you know, all that kind of stuff. We used to put saltpeter on the meat at that time to make it red, you know. Oh, yes, so I'd set up the meat case, then I'd go to school, see? Well, by the time I got to school, you know, I had half a day's working, you know, and the teachers were just kind of waking up, you know, not really ready for me, you know. And that's when I learned how to have sort of out-of-body experiences, you know. I could just leave, you know, I wouldn't have to stay there. I had to stay there physically, or else I'd get played for hooky. So I figured, well, I could just leave vicariously. Go, and I learned how to fantasize, you know, and I would do all these wonderful things, depending a lot upon which movie I saw that Saturday, you know. A lot of times, that's when I wanted to be a diver, you know. I see John Wayne in the Wake of the Red Witch, you know. And I was heavy in the hard head diving then, you know, man, I just sit there, man, I just dreams, you know. They used to call me Mile Away. My nickname was Mile Away in school. See? And so they'd get me out of a English class, you know, to line the football field, see, you know. And I'd get out of the math class to paint scenery, you know. And I thought they was doing me a big favor, and actually they're just trying to, you know, get me out of here, you know. I never failed anything. I never passed anything in 12th grade either, you know. I think I did pretty good for the mental state I was in usually when I was in school, see. Then after school was over, I'd go down to the meat market and finish work until 6 o'clock, you know, in the meat market, see. Because if we wanted any spending money, I had to earn it. It was none at home, you know. So that's kind of the way I kind of got through school that way. Well, scouting helped me a great deal because I had a great, what would it be, like a mentor, would that be the right name? Homer Hicks. Just kind of took me under his wing, you know. And he was a scout person, and we'd go up and he'd pick me up at Saturday night. Saturday night meat market was the big times when all the farmers came in and you'd get out there around 11 o'clock at night, you know. If you washed everything, the inside of the case, the inside of the showcase, everything was clean, you know. Then I think, so I suppose it still is, you know. So anyhow, Homer would come pick me up and we'd go up to the Quara up by Peters Valley there and we'd camp overnight, fish next day and so forth, come back then, and then I'd go to school, see, like that. So as I got older, I started getting involved in the Scouts more and more and started doing running things a little bit. So Homer and I went up to Canada and bought a lake for $1 from the lumber company, see, up above Montreal, up the Wapoust River.